Hello everyone. Sorry, I have new setup tonight. I'm trying to figure out. Um, so I hope everyone is here. Everyone finds us. I don't know. I guess I can't tag everybody, so I hope they all find us. I hope you guys find us easily. I am starting this new. Um, Hi, Tamara. I'm trying to use a new system that will hopefully cut down on the interruptions.
I did the editor one.
Yeah, I did too, so now we did it twice. Hey Barbara, hey Susie. I don't know why it says I have no comments on here, but at least.
Oh, you got them on the screen.
What? Means you're mirroring whatever you have on your phone. We're still trying to set up just a little bit. Oh, it might be mirroring mine. I didn't even select mirror.
No, it's mine.
Oh, looks the same. Okay, so hello everyone. Hello. I'm so happy you guys are here. Sorry for the delay, but we do have something super cool tonight. So you'll want to stick around a little bit. So I was feeling some madness tonight because we were trying to figure out the camera and the reset up, and hopefully the sound is good, the video is good. Just let me know what you think. I would love to hear if it's better, not as good, whatever you think. So let me know in the comments. I would love to know. We're going to use Tea Time Madness tonight. I pulled out the down the rabbit hole just in case, because it's part of the full set that we had here at Doux Designs a couple of months ago. But I want to use the Mad Hatter tonight. I really, really like him. And I have this die. It actually sounds much better. Great. I'm so glad to hear that. This die is called the Mad Hatter Shape Mini Album card die. So I was going to cut it out like a card, but it doesn't fit across an 8.5 by 11, so I'd need a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and I didn't have one handy, so I'm going to fudge the making this a card, even though I didn't cut it out that way. So I'll be showing you how to make this into a card without folding the card and die cutting it. And then we're going to decorate it up, and we're going to use the paper pad from this release, which was right here. Is right here. Sound and vision are awesome. Yay! I'm so glad to hear that. Whimsical Wonderland. This is one of my favorites that we did, just because it just works so perfectly with this set. So I decided to use this front and this back. And I had some scrap papers, so I used those as well. So I die cut already, so you wouldn't have to watch me do it. But we're going to color. No, we're going to put together the card and then decorate it. How's that sound? That way we can get that part done early and everyone can see it. I cut multiple shapes. This die set has 3 different layers right here. So you have the base card, then you have an accent, then you have another accent. So you have 3 layered options. This is the back of the die. He gives you a picture, and then you can watch a YouTube video, or you can just watch me, and I will show you how to do it. So there's 3 layers. So I cut them in multiple colors because I wasn't real sure what I was going to do. But I want to make it into a card even though they're not attached. So the pieces are not attached, so I cut two. These will be my card base, front and back. And then I wanted there to be white on the inside. So this will be the inside of the card base. And then this will be the outside of the card base. Like this. And then we'll decorate the front. So let me show you what I think will work. I am not 100% sure, so we're going to fudge as we go along. But I also cut out a purple to go on top with this stitched. And then I cut a piece of the paper pad with the little scene on there, which I thought would be fun to play with. So in the end, I'm decided I'm not going to use the green one. I'm going to use the actual picture because it's really cool. You need that paper, Susie? And so what we need to do first is decide how are we going to attach this card so that we can open it. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to actually connect it, I think, right here on this end piece right here so that we can open the card like this. So when I make that decision, I have to do some scoring in order to make that card fold easily. So you're unable to see the comments. Oh, Beth, that's a bummer. I can see the comments. So everyone else can let us know if they're also having problems with the comments. Maybe you could go out, come back in, and see if that helps. I think I'm going to do the scoring at between 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch. And I'm just going to score down this like that. I will also have to do it on this piece as well because this piece will be in movement with the other. So I have to lay it on top exactly like how I want it to be placed. And then I'm going to go in the exact same spot and I'm going to score here. I'm just going to put that really light little score there and then I'll go back and do it solid. So this one and this one, if I can get a hold of it. And then that way we have that started. So we have our little score lines on there. I don't know if you can see them or not, but they are right there. Fold lines and fold lines on this piece. So we should be able to fold this up so our card will show. Will open up so we can put some decorations on the inside because who doesn't want to do that? All right, there we go. So at 7:15, I asked Dale, "Hey, what should I do on my live tonight?" He was like, "I don't know." I was like, "Oh man, that's not helpful. Come on, that's not helpful." So I'm going to attach this top piece on there right now because these are really the foundation of the whole card. I think this would be super fun to make into a shaker as well, but we'll have to do that another time. But I think you can do so much with this. And you can even make it an album, which is really cool, especially with the stamp set that we have in the shop. It just works out really nicely. So I'm going to place this on here so that my score lines overlap with the ones on the black. I will need to shift this around because we definitely can't just be having it all wonky. Well, we could because it is the Mad Hatter and everyone is just mad here. There we go. I'm a little bit over far. I want to scoot a little bit more this way because I want this to not be on the line. So it's just kind of a little bit of manipulation, but I think we can do it. So I'm going to grab my little soda press. Would definitely make an awesome album. It is a fun die. When I saw it, I just had to have it. Oh, good, Beth. You went out and it came back in and it's working. I'm very happy to hear that. Okay, so there we go. We have the front foundation made. We will also have a slight fold in one of the other pieces that's going to go on top, but we'll worry about that when we get to it. I think we'll be fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold these in the direction that I want them to go. Because if I'm lifting it up, they have to go up. You guys know that. You're crafters too. I hope this works because this will be amazing if it does. But this is how my brain was working. My brain was saying, it'll work if you do this. It'll work if you do this. But that doesn't mean it's going to work. It just means my brain thinks it will. So I'm going to burnish these real good. And I'm actually going to burnish them the other way as well because I want this to be able to fold really easily back and forth so people can open and shut the card. So I'm going to burnish on the other side as well. So this way. And then I'll pull that out and we'll just have those 3 little folds there on the edge. And then we're going to take this one, this is the inside piece, and I'm going to put the white on top of this one. It should work fine. I hope so. If it doesn't, I'm sure we can figure out something. This could be a platform or a magnet or whatever you want it to be. So there's always options and things. It never goes to waste. It's a little hard to see the black on the table on this dark blue I have on my desk, so I have to be a little bit careful before I press these down to make sure that they are where I want them to be. So that's why I'm lifting it up. I keep getting it just off just a little. So once I get it where I want it, I may have to put more glue on it. Let's pull that just a little bit. There we go. It's really not that hard to put together. I think it's just a user error at this point. But I've made my decision and I'm sticking it down. I want to be able to write on the inside and decorate the inside. So, oh, I must have stuff on my hands. And then we're going to take this top piece. We're going to place it on top, and we're only going to glue it from the fold to the edge. So it's only going to be glued here and here and here. You have 3 little spots that are going to be there. And I think because this is black, I'm just going to hold it up and sit it on the table so I can line it up. Once I have it lined up, I'm going to use my soda press to get a really good crease on that and a hold. And all 3 spots just to make sure it stays really good. We won't open it too much until it's had time to dry, but should open up like that. So when it has time to dry, I'll open it all the way, we'll flatten it, we'll press it all together and burnish it and get it all ready. But in the essence of it, this is what we're going to do. I never get stuff lined up square, always a little askew. It happens to me too. Susie, Beth says, Susie, this is my life. My life is skewed. My life is skewed too. And look, we forgot to put the purple one on there. We were supposed to have the purple background on there, and we forgot that one. So we'll just have to make another one. Maybe we'll just make something else with that too. Because now we have these two that go together. Just like that. So I have an extra. I will put it, I generally put it in here and save it with this, so when I'm ready to do it again, I may already have the pieces cut. That's what I generally do. Now, there are a lot of other die pieces in that set. So there's one that looks like this. There's a key that looks like this. Also, this punches out. This little center piece, so it really looks like a key. There we go, we have a key. Then there's this piece. It kind of looks like a backward S. And then there's this piece. I don't know if you can see, it has embossing on it that says 10/6, which is pretty cool. I wasn't sure what I wanted to go with on this piece, so there's another one. And then I cut a feather out of the silver as well. And then I cut this feather out of green. And it's like green, but then when I flipped over the paper, I like the brown side better. So this is the tea set page extra scraps that I had. The center punches out a little heart, so I'm going to keep the heart because I don't know, I might use it for something, so I just left it right there. Then there's a large keyhole and a small keyhole that we could use for decorating. And that is all the pieces. So quite a few pieces, and that's why I went ahead and cut them out. So I'm going to show you, I'm not going to glue them down yet because I want to have the image done first, but I definitely wanted to give you a chance for those who can't stay the whole time and watch me color and everything. This piece right here is like the inside of the hat, so it's going to go right here, so that you have the rim of the hat. It's a little bit wonky colored to go with this, but being that it's the Mad Hatter, I didn't think that it really made that much difference, but you could make it black or a solid color or whatever color you want the brim to be. You could cut it out with the same pattern paper, you know, whatever you wanted to do. It's entirely up to you. Now this piece right here, this is the hat band, and I thought the blue just wasn't enough bling-ish for the image, so I decided to go with this really sparkly, like, gold color because it matches the sky in the paper, and I think it just really gives it wow. You like this hat, Dre? I do too. I used a scrap piece of paper and I didn't have enough for it to do the whole thing, but I knew we were going to cover it with this piece right here. So I knew it wouldn't matter. So these are the pieces so far, just to show you how it goes together. And then for the keyhole, you could put it on the front or put it on the inside or whatever you want, and it can go here, either the large one or the small one. I haven't decided because I think we're going to put an image on there, so we're not going to do the keyhole there. I also have this heart that I might use later, and then these just accent in our hat, which I really like. That brown matches nicely, and the silver just kind of goes with the whole thing. So we have hat, we have feathers, and hey Evelyn and Jim and Diana. We also have a key, and I haven't decided if I'm going to put the key and the keyhole on the inside or one on the inside, one on the outside. But anyway, this is the way it's going to go together, and although it's very crazy colorish, I think it'll be great. And I want to have it kind of right in front of me so we can color the image to really work well with that design, and we'll have to figure out what kind of sentiment we're going to put on there. But to keep rolling, we're going to stamp up this cute little Mad Hatter. I love to color him. Oh, sorry, Amber Alert. And you know, they won't let you shut them off right away. So I'm sure anyone else in the local area got one too. Hey Mom, I see you made it home fine. Okay, now I'm going to flip this over onto my coloring paper, and I'm going to use my soda press. It's very easy to do. Just rub it around, get some even pressure all around your little image, and when you lift it up, ta-da! It is great. I'm going to go ahead and clean my stamp because I like my stamps to stay as close to clear as possible. So I will wipe this off. And then I will take this out. I could see myself doing the Queen of Hearts, like with this hat, or the March Hare with the hat. And I could put cards in it like his hat is. It'd be so fun. So much you can do with it. I love him. He is so fun to color because you can make him all kinds of different colors. And I love that. I love the variety. So I think this is my zoom, so we're going to try it. I think it will zoom in. Yep, it did. So that's my new way of zooming. So I think that worked. Very, very good. Although my camera's up a little high and I have to lean kind of far into the table in order to do the coloring, but I think we'll be okay. So he is outside and he's a little crazy, so we're going to color him a fairly light skin combination. And I'm only going to use 4 colors tonight, plus, of course, the cheeks. And one of those is going to be the base, so we're really going to have 3 colors for the skin. We're going to have E00, E11, and E13. And then our base coat's going to be E000 and R20 for the cheeks, because we are going to give them a little bit of rosy cheeks. So I'm going to put this color down. You guys hear Dale just beeping away out there? Everything's okay here, if you can hear that. It's the Brother Scan and Cut makes that beeping sound, and he's using it. So just so you know. Wow, you can't even see that skin. It's too bright in here, I think. Let me see if I can turn down a little bit of the light so you can see that, because you can't tell that's colored at all. So I don't know. That's bizarro. Look, I did the whole skin. You just can't see it as well.
You have to adjust the settings.
I don't know how to do that. It's right there. Okay, so I'm going to keep going while Dale plays with the settings, and hopefully you will be able to see it when he gets there, when he gets it done. So I'm going to put some pretty heavy on his cheeks because he's a super happy guy. Oh, that was good. Go back. Go back to where you had it. Alright, so we're going to do our shadow color up here along the top of his hat. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. Thank you. Don't know what I'd do without him. I'm going to do the inside of the mouth as well because I like to keep it really dark. There's no light in there, so I'll go around his hand. And around his sleeve to get that dark color in there. Yeah, that looks a lot better. I think I would put more underneath that part of his eye, of his hair, but his eye is there, so we can't do anything with that. So the next one we have is E11, and remember I said we're only using 3 colors, so this one is going to get a lot. I'm going to definitely do a little bit with his nose. So I want you to be able to see that he has a nose. And then I'm going to extend from this shadow color I put on there. Down his face a little bit. Over his cheeks. Under his mouth. And then from this side over as well. A little bit on his hands. I'll leave a teeny bit of highlight area left for the last color. Dale is definitely my Mr. Fix-It. That is so true. Sweet Bee Creative Studio. Good evening. Thank you for popping in to the chat. E00, we're going to blend out the rest with E00. So I tend to say just work the lines. If you can see lines in your image, just work along the line till you get it to smooth out. Just give yourself some little breaks in between so you don't wash it out. But if you give it just a few minutes, it will blend nicely together for you, which is very, very helpful. We're going to finish the hands. And then we're good to go. So his cheeks looked really, really bright there in the beginning, but they don't so much anymore, which is exactly what I was going for. Now, this is the card base. So I was trying to decide, do I think it'll be too much if he has blue hair? Or should I just give him blue hair? Well, we could do red or we could do blue, but I kind of think blue hair would be super cool. And I don't know that we've done blue hair before, so I think we're going to give him blue hair tonight. I think that'll be fun. So we're going to give him blue with a tinge of turquoise in there, just for fun. So let's see. I think I'm going to start out... Let's swatch the colors and make sure we like what we've come up with before we do it. So let me show you how I do that. If you watch me all the time, you know how I do it, but I'm just going to show you in case you've never seen me do it before. Go with blue hair. Okay, blue hair it is. So I think I'm going to use B18 as the darkest color for his hair. And then I was thinking B16 would be next. It's a little bit lighter, blends very nicely. And then we're going to go a little off the rails. We're going to pick BG05 and see how that goes. Okay, that's nice. That's a little more to the teal side. And then for the last color, I was thinking about maybe throwing in this BG23. It'll add just a little bit of that, that tealish color. But the good thing about that, and the reason why I chose that color to mix in, is because in the paper, in this paper right here, see, there's the blue, and then there's also this color. So we want to kind of match this up nicely. So that, I think that's where I decided on that combination, and that is going to be his hair color. Do it, do it, do it. All right, here we go. B18. So when I do his hair, I'm going to do whatever is up close to the hat, giving a little shadow underneath the hat. And I'm going to do one side at a time so you guys can see the whole process take place. I think the way I have my light, I'm going to shift my light, because the way I have my light right now, you see a shadow when I put my hand there, and I want the shadow back here instead of over the image. So I move the light. Hopefully that will help. And then any part of the hair that has an overlap, I'm going to try to put a little bit of that shadow color in there. His hair is very crazy, so if you don't get it exact, don't worry about that. Just choose some of the spots and get some of that darkness in there. Some along the bottom down there, and then whatever is close to his head always stays darker than the rest, so I'm going to put just a little bit of extra down there. I think we need just a tad right here, so I'm just going to do a little flick right there. Very nice color combination. You like it? I love to play with the colors. It's so fun. Okay, now we're going to extend from where we put those darkest colors, starting to build it out a little bit. Anywhere else that we have overlapping, we're just going to extend, adding a little bit here and there. It's very crazy hair, but it's also very small, so it doesn't take a really long time to get the effect that you are looking for. It actually comes together quite nicely and pretty fast. Alice in Wonderland is your favorite book? Oh, I like Alice in Wonderland too. The BG05, this one I'm going to make sure that all the outlines are covered. And I'm also going to blend out some of the darker colors, but I want to leave enough for that teal in between color that we chose. So making sure I'm doing all the edges, still leaving some white. Want to make sure we get enough of that color in there. And then we're going to come in with the BG23. And we're going to start filling in those areas. Now, I don't know how obvious this color is going to be, so I'm just going to do those little areas first. And if we need to blend over some of the blue, we can do that. But if we can keep those colors a little bit separated, I think it'll really look cool. So I've colored him with red hair and purplish hair, but never blue. But I like it. I think it's pretty cool. Many years ago, you were on a DT for a challenge blog where every challenge was based on Alice in Wonderland. And it was so much fun. Oh, that'd be awesome. That would be really neat. All right, now we're going to do the other side of his head. Same way, we're going to go along the top area under the hat because we want to get that in. And then any area that we see that has an overlap, we're going to try to put some in there. So real close to his head, underneath this big bit of hair right here. Any of these, I didn't give you quite as many over here, so we're going to build some in ourselves, kind of where some of those lines are added by the artist. And then up close and under here needs to have the darkest color. So we're just going to fill some of that in. Same way we did the other side, just adding a little bit. I feel like I need just a tad bit more of this, so I went ahead and added just a little bit of this blue over the artist drawn lines. You like the blue hair? I bet this blue hair would look really good on a girl image with really long hair. It would be so fun. All right, adding and extending from where you put that original color. And it's your picture, so you can put that little bit of color wherever you want. To stay kind of consistent, try to keep it in the overlapping areas and the extra stuff, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And he's a little crazy anyway, so it doesn't matter. BG05 is the one where we're going to make sure all the outside lines have the blue on them already before we start with the next color. Leaving a little bit for that last color. So I don't want to leave too big a spot for that last color, but I definitely want to be able to leave some area for that. So I'm just kind of darkening a few of the shadow areas so it doesn't lighten it too much more than the other side. You know, I want to try to keep them consistent. Okay, so I'm going to go in there and I'm going to add now this blue-green color. I like to add this wow factor, and I think at changing the color family a little bit kind of does that and really gives it a different look than the traditional blue color. Isn't that cool? Okay, I love it. All right, so I'm happy with the blue hair. Yay, yay. I'm going to go back real quick and grab that R20 that I did on his cheeks and just put it on his tongue. I'm also going to do the E13 one more time inside his mouth so that gets a shade darker. So it separates his face from his mouth just a teeny bit more. See how much of a difference that made? I really like that. Since we're doing him really crazy tonight, I'm going to wait on his eyes because I might be doing them like a crazy color. So we'll see. Okay. Other colors that are in our background. We have some reds, some pinks, some purples, some greens. So we're going to stick with those colors. So we're going to need some red. I think maybe his hat should be red. You truly are amazing coloring. It looks 3D. Oh, yay! I love it when you guys think that. It makes me so happy. All right. So I'm going to stick with some red, but I'm going to mix my red with a little bit of some pinkish tones. So let's try this. We'll swatch this out real quick and make sure this works. But this is my thought for the hat and maybe part of the clothing is this R89. And when I use R89, I usually go down the red path. But this one's R37, and I know that those will go well together and still look pretty red, but we're starting to move into something that's not so red. So I chose R85. This will bring it a little more like mauve-ish, and they still blend very nicely. And then R83 will be the really light color that we'll use for the highlight, but again, I think that goes fairly well together. And I think it matches in here really well. So we'll stick with those colors. And let's grab a few more and swatch them all out at the same time so we don't have to do that part again. I think we need something that's like almost like a mossy kind of green, but I like the yellow green idea as well. So we're going to play with these strange colors now and see what we get. I'm kind of looking for something like, let's try this and see. This one might not be the right color, but it's hard to tell. Oh, it might be the right color. This is YG95. And then what if we tried to go to a G43 next? That one we'll have to work the line a little bit to really get that to blend, but I think we can do it. And then we'll go to a G20. That might be too light. We may have to put this one in front of it, which is YG21. Oh yeah. We're going to do that. Then we'll do this one. And then I think it'll go nicely because that works in the color sequence. So this is a really weird combination, but it says like YG95, G43, then YG21, then G20. Strange combination, but we're going to do it. And what else do we have in the background? We have some tan colors, so let's throw in some... Let's throw in some E44, 43, 42, and then we'll toss in this E51 at the end, and it'll brighten it up a little bit. So that gives us 3 more colors to work with on his outfit, plus we can use some of the blues from here, so we can repeat those colors. Don't forget Sandy's release party Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. Yay! Thank you, Drea. It's going to be a fun party. You won't want to miss, I promise. Okay, YG95. I'm going to start with that one and do some accent colors because I really want to get this green in here. So I'm going to start with this line of his hat right here, the hat band. And I'm using the brush strokes. I'm just doing short ones and small ones just to kind of get some of this color in there. I want it to show texture, so they're all different lengths. And I think I'm going to do, I know that these hearts aren't, with cards usually aren't green, but we're going to make that one green anyway. Thanks for the reminder. Set my notification. Yay! I try to bring the fun. I think we'll do his coat in this green color as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start on the coat. Normally I stick with greens and blues for pants, but I think we're going to go with red this time. So we'll see how that works out. I may make his cuffs a different color, so I'm not going to color them. I'm only going to color the inside of the sleeves, but the cuffs I think are either going to be lighter or darker than the coat, along with the lapel part right there. Same thing. And those are just personal touches. You could just do the whole thing the same color, but I like to mix it up a little bit. If I just showed you the standard, you wouldn't be learning new things. So we're definitely going to do that. I want the inside of this coat to stay pretty dark, so most of it is one color. We'll be adding one more color to it, probably no more than that. So there we go. And I'm kind of thinking the shoes too. But maybe I'll wait, because maybe we'll do the shoes tan or we'll do them red. I don't know. Something like that. Now we're going to come in with this G43. And I know you guys were thinking that green color was crazy wonky, but we're going to do it anyway. This is going to change the whole tone and color altogether. So I am going over the green as I work this new green color in there. But because the first green color is so prominent, you can kind of see it through this green. So I like that because it gives it a little bit of a interesting tone. You love the color combinations? Yay! I like to throw in new ones here and there. Keep you on your toes. If you guys could predict what color I was choosing, I wouldn't be a very good teacher. That would mean I'd be using the same thing all the time. So we're just going to mix it up all the time. We have 358 colors to work with. And then we have 335 ohuhus, and we have 256 olos. So we can make some combinations for a long time. And then we can mix them all together. So yeah, there's some craziness going on here. So this is the last color I'm going to use for the inside of his coat. As long as you can swatch it on a piece of paper and get it to blend, you're going to be fine no matter what color you pick. So I'm going to start with a little bit on the sleeves, on these little cuffs here, just so we can begin to put some color in there. And since we're going to do it on the lapels as well, I'll do these small spots and then one little line on that side. And it'll look different and separate because we won't have the dark color in there. So next we're going to switch it up again to YG21, which is going to throw some more yellow in there. YG21. This one is significantly lighter. We'll save that little bit in the center for the last color. I think for the most part, I'm going to finish up with this heart up here with this color. We're going to start working in that jacket. Most of it will be in this color with maybe a touch of the other color on top. I really like this color. I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. Sometimes I surprise myself. Seriously, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm going to put a little bit on here, but I'm going to use the last color to really do the rest of the lapels and the little sleeves, because I want to keep them a bit different. So I'm going to add just a little tad bit right there. And then we're going to use the G20 to finish it up. So I'm going to do a little bit of a back and forth right here just to cover any light space. This is a really light color and has a lot of colorless blender in it, so you don't want to do too much blending or you'll wash out your colors. So a little bit back and forth, but not too much, just a little bit. I'm going to come from the white area and go into the color to keep that really light. Now, I think you'll be able to see those differences way better when we start putting in some of this other color. So just bear with me. I have to go start my show. Yes, I'll see you there. Making it hard to leave. He's going to be awesome. I'll show you when I come into your show later what he turned out to look like. If we do his pants in red, then I think if we do that, we should start with the tan first so we can get the tan taken care of, because it's lighter and the red is going to really cause me some issues if I drag that red in with the tan. So we're going to do this first. I'm going to put, this is a kind of a feather, and so I am going to put some little, like, little veins or whatever you want to call them inside the feather. I'm going to put some of those of my own in here to really enhance this little feather. I want it to look really cool, so I'm going to add some detail in there myself. I mean, I could do that when I'm drawing it, but then it doesn't leave for your imagination to do whatever you want with it. So I'm just doing a few brush strokes from some of the outside and then a few from the inside off of this one little line that I put in there. I'm also going to do the cards. I know they're usually white, but I'm going to add just a little bit of depth to them in a couple of areas. Just because I want them to kind of stand out. They can be old cards. I'm going to do the sole of his shoes with this dark color. There we go. And I don't know what color I want to do as bow tie. I can't decide. But I think I'm going to go ahead and give his pants this tan color so I can make his shoes red and his hat red. I want his hat to really stand out. So I'm going to put a little bit of this brownish color. Taupe is what it'll kind of look like in the end. Just get a little bit in here. I don't like to leave them straight lines when I color in there. I like them to have, you know, the little tiny brush strokes because it helps them to blend a little better. And maybe we'll go ahead and do his little shirt under here in the same tan color. So the next one we have is E43. And I don't think I'm going to do anything with the hat, but I'm going to do a little bit along here, just along where the shadow would be on his feather. And then a little bit here under where his shirt is. And then we'll start working on those pants. They're going to be really light. I know they looked dark when we first put this color on them, but we're going to keep them fairly light. The last two colors will be real light, so they will end up lighter than they looked when we first started. There we go. Next, we're going to go to E42. I think we're going to make this feather crazy by adding a little bit of the teal-ish blue-green color to it when we get to that point. So I'm just softening some of the really dark lines and going around the edge a little bit with this color, but I didn't put very much on the feather. Adding a little bit to the cards, just a little bit, along that edge to soften it up. Just we don't want that really harsh line in there. We want it to just look like some shadowing. So we have to be really cautious with that. I think we're done with the shirt that's underneath. And then we'll add some of this, and we'll still leave a small line for us to fill in with the last color. So I'm going from the inside of his pant leg towards the outside and from the outside towards the inside. So both directions on those pants. Looking sharp. He's going to be ready to be going and having some tea for sure. E51 is the last color. I'm probably going to use the colorless blender with these cards to kind of lighten them up just a little bit, give them a little bit of texture. But for right now, we're adding in this 51, and you'll notice that it got much lighter and a little less brown, a little bit of peachy color in there, which is what's going to happen with his pants as well. I'm going to go back and forth, blending them together. I'm going to do the same thing over here. The when to go back and forth and when to do brush strokes and all that kind of stuff is more of a my style technique of when I do it and when I don't. And that, as long as you know how to do it, That's what's going to build your style to look different than mine, even though you're following the same steps. So don't be afraid to go a little different than what I do. So this is a pretty light color, but I want to put a little bit inside this feather. So I'm just going to barely touch the paper, adding a little bit brush strokes of this color throughout that little feather. I want the feather to kind of stand out and look a little bit like it's two-tone color. So I just added a bit around the edges. It's a little bit hard to see, but here it is up close. It kind of has both colors in it. I'm going to go back in one time with the E51 that we used, the last color, and blend those together so that blue will be there, but will also blend with the other ones to kind of soften it up. I mean, after all, it's a feather. It needs to be more soft. So that kind of softens the feather, makes it look like it would be so soft if you touched your face with it. Now we're going to get into our reds. I usually try to do the reds last. So we are going to need a color for his bow tie. And I'm trying to decide what color I want to make that. So I am looking at the background of the card base. And there's, I would say, there's a little bit of blue in there, but it's more of a muddied soft blue. So I'm going to try the B45 and B41. They obviously go together because their numbers are together, but it will be a more muted blue than the hair. So I'm just going to do the artist drawn lines and what's up close to his face with this color, and also the top part of the center of the bow. And then I'm just going to finish it off with this B41. It'll keep it really light, but it kind of ties in the blue a little bit. There are a lot of blues in the background paper, so I think that's kind of enough. It's very, very light and subtle, and I like that. Oh, purple. I could have done purple. Maybe we'll do the teapots purple, since we have no purple on here, and there's purple in the background. Okay, so for under his hat, it needs to be darker than the rest of it. So there's going to be a lot of this R89 under the hat. So I'm going to put that in there right away. And then I'm going to go in here, and I'm just going to put it along the bottom where that hat, scarf, whatever you call that is, and a little bit above it. I want it to look like it's kind of sitting on top of the hat in 3 dimensions, so almost like you popped it up, but we didn't. But we want it to appear that way. I'm going to put more red on this side because that's where the underside is, and it'll just stay cohesive that way. A little bit on the right side of the heart. In this part right here where the hat, the trim of the hat kind of dips, I'm going to put some dark in there, but we'll put the lighter color in there later. And I'm going to do his vest and his shoes in red. He is going to have red shoes. Yes, ma'am, he is. So I am just adding a little bit of that red to his shoes. I'm going to do the same thing on his little vest, kind of along where it folds, so it looks like it's laying on top of one side's laying on top of the other. So that's kind of the plan there. Ooh, purple eyes would be wicked. I think we should do that. We should do purple eyes and purple on the tea kettles. R37. This is going to be the last color for this underside because we want to keep this underside real dark. I'm also going to put it along both edges of that side of the bill. I'm going to go along this line right here. It shows the edge of the bill. And then I'm going to do a little bit from the edge and a little bit from here, and we'll save some of that area for the lighter colors. We have 2 more lighter colors. I don't know why my light decides to shut itself off, but it just randomly does that sometimes. I guess it gets tired and says, "Yeah, I'm done." I turn it back on and say, "No, you're not." We've bought several of those lamps, and every one of them does that. They just randomly just shut off all on their own. Like, "Oh, I'm tired. Maybe I'll just shut down for tonight." Loving the colors you chose. It's something I wouldn't have thought of. Yep, that's what I try to do. Something different that we wouldn't have normally chosen. That's what makes it so fun, is that you can do so many colors. Sometimes when I'm picking colors like this, it's not because I think, "Oh yeah, let's do these colors." It's because I'm trying to, 1, match the background, or 2, I'm trying to switch it up and give you different color combinations than we've done in the past. So this could be a heart, but it could also be a spade. So we're going to color that black as a spade. Okay, now we're at the R85. So we're going to start blending that out. Going to have to do a little bit of work on that one to get it to blend nicely together. But it'll just take a little bit of work there. I want to leave that shadow behind the heart, so I'm not going to work that too much. I'm going to kind of leave that part alone. And start blending this out. We have 1 more color, so I'm going to leave a bit on his hat for that. This is the back side, so it needs to be darker. I will finish the top side of the hat right here with this color, but I'm going to leave a little bit here for just a little highlight on that edge of his hat. Then I'm going to work this center. I'm going to do the rest of the shirt with this one because it's such a small area and it is kind of in shadow. So I'm going to finish it off with that color. And then his shoes, I'm going to leave a little bit on the tops of them for the last color. Just like that. It's just tiny spots, but we're going to do it. Last one is R83. And we're going to finish this part up right here. Now, we can see that meet up a lot right there. So if we have to tip to tip, we can. But I think if we just blend a little bit, we'll get it to come together without having to do that. And it does. So it leaves a very bright area, which makes it look very highlighted. We're going to do this area right here. That little edge right there. Keeping that a little bit highlighted as well. And then we're going to do the same thing for the shoes. Leaving a bit of highlight on the shoes. So this is a red, but it's not a red. It's kind of a pinkish red. I like it. I think it looks really good. I'm pretty happy with those colors. I think for the buttons, we'll just use the black because we are going to have to use like a blackish gray. And I think we need a cool gray because these colors seem to be very cool. So I'm going to try C7 first as my shadow color, and I'm also going to make it my buttons. So I'm holding my marker upright and just pouncing on the little buttons to fill them in. And then we're going to do along the bottom and the right side of that spade. You guys like him, don't you? He's fun. He's coming out really nicely. And I think if we're going to use purple, we can also use this gray on the teacup and the teapot with the purple. I think it'll look really nice. So this is C4. It's going to be significantly lighter. It's also going to have a lot of colorless blenders, so you don't want to spend too much time blending in the shadow area or you'll lose it. So I like that color. I'm pretty happy with that. I think since I have this one out, let's go ahead and let's put some of this in here. So I'm going to stick with making this a gray cup with a purple trim. I think it'll stand out with all the lighter colors that we have in the image. We'll put some brown inside his cup so it looks like he has tea in there already. And then I'm going to do just this trim right there. And I'm going to do the trim on the top of the tea kettle. And then I'm going to do this area right here with the gray, and the rest will be in the purple color. Well done, Copic Diva. Thank you. And we'll do the eyes in purple too, so no worries there. Oh, this one is C4. We need our other one first, which is C5, and then we can go to 4. I noticed as soon as it touched the paper, that I had the wrong one in my hand. Which is good and not a problem if you have a lighter one, but if you have a darker one in your hand and you didn't check, that can be a problem. I'm just going to do around the top. So this, I think that kind of reminds me of a flower, so I like it to be a really bright color. I think for this trim here, we're just going to finish it off with that color. Also, I think this top part right there has a little trim as well. And then here we go with C4. We'll finish off the little cup. And then we'll finish off the teapot with the gray. And now all we have to do is choose our purple, and we can go from there. Now usually I do a really bright, vibrant, almost slap you in the face purple. But tonight we're not going to use that. We're going to go with some of the other purples that we have so that it's a little bit more muted purple. It's a very small area, so we don't need a whole lot of the purples. So let me check which one I want to use. This is V28. I think I'm going to want to use V25. This is V25. And then this is V22. So, yeah, I kind of like that. I think we'll use all three of those. So that's V28, 25, and 22. I'm pretty happy with those colors. So here is the V28. We're not going to do anything on the cup because it's so small. I want it to be a brighter purple. But along this bottom right here, coming up from the gray, and then in between the petal areas that look like a petal, and then this underside of the spout. I'm also going to put just a little bit on these edges right here, but I'm not going to do anything on the top. I will do a little bit on the handles. Again, holding my marker upright really high so you can take care of that. Before we do the cup, and so I don't make a mistake and color it the inside of it the wrong color, I'm going to grab that E42 that we used on the tan colors and just color in the drink, so I can make sure I don't put purple in the drink, because no one wants to put purple in the drink. Hey, Phyllis. This is the V25. It's the true purple color. So I'm going to put some around the edge of the cup, leaving a little space for the highlight. And then I'm going to start going around the coffee pot. or the tea kettle or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to finish the arm handle. And then I'm going to go around the outside and start filling this in, leaving really light, small areas for the highlight. Kind of doing that around the outside and such. We might need a little bit darker for the eyes, but we can try them with this color. I kind of feel like I need just a little bit more. The purple is great. This is great for the tea kettle. I really like it. So I'm going to finish the rim of the cup. So that cup is done. And then I'm going to use this to finish. And I'm not going to do a lot of blending because I want to leave those areas really, really light. I like them light like that. So I'll just work those lines a little bit, but I don't want to blend them too much. So a little bit along those line areas to get that to look real smooth. And then that becomes our teacup. Now we're going to try to use these colors on the eyes. We probably won't be able to do a lot of like lines in them and stuff, but I think we can make them look really cool. So I'm going to start at the top with the darkest color. It's going to look really crazy and a little bit like Looney Bin to start off with. But in the end, I think it's going to look really good. So I'm just going to extend a little bit further around the sides of his eyes. Then I'm going to come in with the really light color for the bottom. And I'm not going to do a whole lot there. I'm just going to do a little bit. I usually try to add some green in there, like the G00, to give it like a really bright look and make it look glassy. So I am going to add a little bit of that. It'll make it look even better though because it's purple and green together. Because they're so small and these colors are so light, I'm going to go over the darkest area one more time with the V28 just to give that separation of color a little bit more. Because I think that'll make his eyes like really pop a little better. I like that. That makes me happy. I'm going to move all my markers off my desk. And I'm going to grab my white gel pen and my multi-liner. He is looking awesome. Thank you, Cheryl. Oh, it keeps freezing on you? I'm so sorry. I'm trying to use the computer instead of my phone now, so it won't cause problems, but... Okay, so I use the multi-liner, and look how much more that one eye stands out. So we're going to do the same thing on this one, and I'm just going over the black area on the eye to make it stand out a little more. If you go over the white, don't worry about it because we're going to use the white gel pen to bring that white back out. It's not a problem. It's super easy. Also, I noticed really quickly that I went outside the lines a little bit right here on the pot. So I'm going to push that purple color back in the lines. There we go. Alright, now it's moving. Okay, so now you can't tell I went outside the lines. Yay! There we go. Alright, white gel pen. Grab my white gel pen. And I'm going to touch the eyes just a little bit there. Get a little bit of white in there. Let's do the other side. So now we have really nice, pretty eyes. And I'm going to add a little bit to the top of this tea kettle because I want it to kind of be a little shinier. And we're going to add just a little bit right around the rim of the cup, a little bit on his shoes. And this will be able to dry while we finish putting together the rest of the image. I'm going to put a little bit along the trim of that hat. I really like that. And I'm going to put a couple of dots over here, just because I think that'll give it a little bit of personality. I think I'll add a little bit to his bow tie as well, and maybe a touch to the buttons, just so they stand out a little more. Alright, so this is what he looks like up close. There you go. All the details. He's very cool looking. Although, I just realized we're going to have to cut him out. So let's work a little bit on the card that we have. I'm going to try to zoom out just a little bit. If I could figure out how to do that. I don't know how to do that. Dale's not here. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. I did it. Yay! Alright, so I think what I want to do is put him on top. So I'm going to go ahead and start attaching some of this stuff in here. So this, again, was that brim of his hat. This is the paper pad, the Wonderland. I can't remember what I called it. Whimsical Wonderland, I think. Both these pattern papers are from Whimsical Wonderland paper pad here at Doux Designs. I'm going to slide that over so it's in just the right spot. I went over a little on my glue, but it's okay. Now, when you place the pattern paper on top of the pattern paper, sometimes it slides around for a couple seconds, so you have to be a little bit careful because it is slick. But once it dries, you're totally fine. And it dries clear, so if there's any sticking out, you're totally fine. The cool part about using markers instead of watercolors is if you color outside the lines, you can push it back. Yeah, that is really cool. I love that part. I did decide not to use the blue piece. I decided to use this really shiny, like when you look at it, look, it's like a goldy, shiny, glittery paper. And I got this one. This was Stampin' Up, but I think it was like a special around Easter or something. So I don't know that they don't have it anymore, but I really like it, and I bought a ton of it when I could get it because I thought it would be great for accents. Also, these pieces, they slide very nicely into place. They bump up against each other, so it's pretty easy to tell where they go. It's awesome, sparkly. I like it sparkly too. I'm very sparkly. And I did the die cut on this, and it has an emboss for the 10/6, but it was hard to see, and so I did it twice. Like, I put 2 pieces of paper so it would show up a little better, and I really like how that turned out, so I'm pretty happy with that. I think what I'm going to do, because this paper is quite thick, I'm going to grab those thin pop dots that I have, the ones that you can purchase that are thin versus a regular pop dot size. So these are the thin ones. On the description they say thin 3D foam. So I like to use those, and I think I'm going to use those on the top part of this, and then I'll use the double-sided sticky tape because sticking on that glitter is like crazy hard, which is why I don't use them nearly as often as I would like to. I'm also going to be a little careful because we're going to need to fold this on that line, like right here. I'm going to do it with my fingernails so I can put a score in there, because it's going to have to fold with the card. So let me grab my scoreboard and score it too, because we're definitely going to need that score line on there. So let's see. I'm going to turn it this way so I can do my line straight and easy right here. So we're going to need that to fold with the rest of the card. So I'm not going to put any pop dot stuff on that, because I don't want that to cause a hindrance for opening the card. If you missed how we designed this into a card without cutting it that way, you'll have to watch the beginning of the show. So I just want this to fold with the card. I don't technically want to glue it down, so I'm going to leave it free, but I still want it to be able to fold. So I can only go, I went about as far as I can go with this. I think I went down too far with this one, so I'm going to take it back off. I'm glad I didn't press it on. I think 2 at the top will be sufficient. And then a little piece of double-sided sticky tape to make it stick to this is what we need for sure. And then maybe a second one up here. Just double-sided sticky tape right about here, just to make sure we get that on there pretty good. So there we go. I'm just removing that. I'm going to take these off, pick it up with my finger. I'm going to place it over top of here. Again, they match up very nicely. Pretty perfect. So there we go. We now have that piece on there, and it'll fold with the card, so I'm happy about that. I didn't put too many foam dots, so we can get these little feathers in there however we want. I don't think I want to glue them down on the outside, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue at the bottom of it, and then we'll put it in here. And I'll just press down, and it'll stay, but it'll stay free to do its own thing. There we go. And then I also have a silver one, and I think I'm going to put that one, let's see, I'm trying to find, oh, there it is. I'm trying to find the space between the pop dots so I can put it in there, but it looks like I may have to go this way. How do I want to put that in there? Maybe really close to this one. I kind of like that, but I'm not real sure I like that. So let's... Huh? Behind this one? Is it too big sticking off the card? I kind of don't like that. So maybe I'll just trim this a little bit. We'll just trim the bottom of this off a little bit. And then we'll be able to stick it in there however we want, like this. Yeah, that's good. I like that. I do want to glue this one down all the way so it'll stay underneath here. Now that I have it stuck. There we go. All right, so we have a little bit of our hat. It is the hinge. Yes, the hinge that I made earlier. This is the trash. And then we need to cut him out and see where he fits before we can decide on the key and the keyhole. So he should be dry now. I'm going to cut it a little bit out first so I don't have big long pieces of craziness hanging off the edge of my card while I'm trying to cut. Okay, so I got him smaller. That makes my life a little easier. And then you guys have to watch me fussy cut. Anyone have any questions while I'm fussy cutting that I could answer for you about what we did today? It's going to take a little bit extra time. I'll get moving pretty fast here in a minute over some of the little spaces. Will be fairly easy. But there are some intricate little cuts along this guy, so he'll take just a little bit longer to cut out, but I think it'll be okay. Especially when we get to his hair. His hair will take us a little bit, but I'll show you how I do it to make it faster. So you don't have to cut it out perfectly. You just have to get somewhere around close, because no one is looking at your cutting like they're looking at the coloring. They're going to look at the card and the coloring and the paper, and they're not really going to care how specific.
Susie has her yet,
I am adding bling, yes. I am definitely adding bling. For sure. Already have it pulled out. Yes, we need bling. I haven't used a whole lot of bling lately. I need some bling bling going on tonight. So tomorrow I will go live in the evening. I'll post in the group so you guys know, but I'll be going live to do a sneak peek on the new release. Tomorrow is Friday, right, honey?
yes.
Okay. So I'll be doing a sneak peek on the release that's coming up, but I do want to pre-warn you all. There was a problem at the manufacturer, and they are delayed at shipping out, so this will be... we will release at the right time on the release date, which is Saturday, but please know that it was beyond our control, that we are not going to have the stamps and won't be sending them out until the end of next week. We will mail them immediately after they arrive. We will stop whatever we're doing and we will ship them out to you as soon as possible. So hopefully you guys will be okay with that. I will have the images to show you what they look like, and I will have a copy of what the paper will look like and all that good stuff. I just won't have the stamps on time. It happens, so no worries. Yay! And then we will have a release party. We're going to do some fun stuff. We will have a free digi stamp. And it's super cute. You guys are totally going to want to do it with me. So I will post. So by Saturday morning, it will be live and you can download it and come to the party. We will be coloring it Saturday night live, so you can color along with me. And learn a little bit and color a little bit, and the image is adorable and it's totally free, so all you have to do is download and print out, and you can hang out with me and color with me, and you can color it as many times as you want. It's sort of indirectly related to what the new release is, so I didn't want to delay showing you guys what we have coming for you, so even though we haven't received everything yet, and we will ship it right away, we want to go ahead and do the release. We don't want to hold it off, so hopefully that makes you guys happy. Here's our little guy. He's ready to go. I kind of want... Most people put him way down here, but I kind of want him up here, sort of closer to the middle of the hat. I think that I want him right there, which means he's going to have double-sided sticky tape on, because that's the way it rolls for me. So we'll put a little bit of those, I'll just put a little strip of this right down the center. And then we'll put, let's see, if we put him about right here, then I know about half, right under his hat, we can put all the pop dots on his hat. So we'll grab these. I have the thinner ones, so they'll be a little easier to place. And we'll just put them on the other areas. right down to the end of his hat. And then let's see, I think there might be maybe his two little feet. If I can take one of these and kind of cut it in half, we'll probably be able to put them on his feet.
That said, you're working late. Things happen.
Aw, thanks so much, Beth. They do happen. I've been following up, but we actually had two issues that happened. One, and I can explain what that is when we do the live. But one was they send you a proof of how they're going to cut out your stamps, and I was like, no, that's not right. So we had to kick it back, and they had to rework it. And then the second thing was they are just running late on shipping out. So it was them and us. So it happens. Okay, so we have all those on there. Now I'm going to peel off these so it'll stick to that gold. I'm a little bit off the edge here, but it's okay because we can just fold it back. Come here, little guy. Okay, so this area right here is just sticking out past the little teapot, so I'm just going to fold that back. Place it back there. And then we had a little piece right down here by his legs that I'm also going to fold back so you can't see it from the front. Then we're going to put this little guy on here right about, I think right about here. So we'll stick him on there pretty good.
So we have delays on the stamps and the paper pad.
But
I've been
everything
busy at
else we can do.
Busy at work and have the ephemera, stickers, stencil done up.
I think I'm going to put this little keyhole right down here. Yeah, we have everything else ready, and we have, other than the release, we have something else new to release to you guys that you will be able to have immediately. So, don't worry, there's lots of cool stuff coming. And then the key. I think I want to put the key on the inside, so I'll wait until we open the whole card.
Hello, Mom.
Hey! I think I'll put the big keyhole and the key on the inside. I think that'll be really cool. Let me open up my bling and decide what kind of bling we're going to use. I'm thinking that I want to use, I was thinking these because they're a taupe, tannish taupe color. Or I could use the hearts. Let's use the hearts. How fun will that be? So we have several of these little hearts in the shop, several sizes. But look, they'll go right over the hearts that are there and make them three-dimensional, which I think is really cool. So we have three different sizes in here. So we have a really large heart, which is that one that I put there. And then we have a medium heart, which I think we could put right here. And then we have a little heart, like a little one, that we could put up here. And then we would have our three embellishments, but they would make it dimensional, which I think is so fun. So we're definitely going to do that. I know where to put the glue because I have the hearts already on there. I can spin it around and make it the right direction. Turn. There we go. Then this one. Come on, don't do that to me. Ooh, slippery little sucker. Is this why you guys wanted me to do bling, so you could watch me chase it around my desk? Just kidding. It does happen, though. And then this one right here, we're going to hope it picks it up this time and holds on to it. There we go. Put that one right there. I'm going to use my soda press to press them down really good. Make sure I get them sticking really good. It's okay if the glue pops out around it because it dries clear, so it's totally fine. Not worried about that. I do want to, I am going to use, I think, a few of these as well, because we're really going to bling it up tonight. I was thinking it would look really cute if we put like 3 little dots right here of the tan color. It would even out the tan on the page. So, 1. That one's upside down. 2. And 3. And that's okay because that's not going to curve. I'm going to take a little bit of that glue off because there's a whole lot of glue right there for that little bitty thing. It's moving around a lot because there's a lot of glue, but once I press it down, it won't do that. So we're going to press them down real quick. There we go.
Evan said, what about one on the keyhole?
Oh, I'm going to use the white gel pen on the keyhole in just a minute to make that stand out, because right now it's not standing out very well, which is I'm pretty sure where you were going with that as well. But I thought for the keyhole I would do a little line here just to kind of show that, and then maybe like this so you could kind of see that there's a little keyhole there, because we don't want to miss out on the keyhole. Maybe I'll just do the whole, like, kind of like that, so you can see the keyhole there. Let's see, what else do we need to do? We need to open the card. Are you ready? Let's make sure it opens. We're just going to press here real quick just to make sure we got good folds. This one was supposed to stick. Maybe we do want them to stick instead of having them pop up. So I'm going to let that stick. I am actually going to open it up and then press it down right there so it really holds it. I want to get a good hold there. Doesn't want to lay down, but I guess it's okay if it pops up. I mean, people aren't going to open the card all the way anyway. Even if it just folds up, I think that's totally fine. I do want to put the key and the keyhole on the inside, this one. So I think I might put the other little keyhole right here in the corner, because I already cut these out, so I'm going to use them. I don't want them to go to waste. It's just amazing. You love it. Yay! And then this one, the little key. I want to put the little key up here. Like this. And now we have the key and the keyhole, and we have a little keyhole on the front, and we have feathers and all kinds of stuff. So you can really see that 10 and 6, but if you wanted to, you could use the gel pen to kind of make those stand out a little bit more if you wanted to. It would make you know there's something there. don't want it to be solid. I want it to be kind of sketchy. I kind of like it like that. It kind of makes it stand out. I think if you touch it with your finger, you can kind of lighten it a little bit. But I like it like that. I think that really helps the 10-6 stand out. One of the best cards ever. The background worked out so good with it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. And then the inside is simply just as cute. So when you deliver it to someone, it will stand up just like a card. So cute. You could also do it this way if you did just the top rather than the sides. But whatever you want to do works out just great for you. I hope you guys love this. I hope you'll come back and see me tomorrow night for the sneak peek of the new release. It's going to be super fun. I can't wait. And if you're not doing anything else tonight and you want to come hang out, I'm going to go visit them over there at Crafty Ho Ho on YouTube. So come join us over there. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow night and Saturday on Crafty Ho Ho for the release party. There may be prizes. You probably want to come and check it out. And you'll want to make sure you get your digital download before you come to the party. And it will be available in the morning, so you will have all day to prepare for the event at night. So thank you so much for joining me. I really enjoyed hanging out with you guys, and I hope that you have a great Friday. So happy Friday, everybody. I'll see you soon. Good night.